All right, here we are during this busy holiday season. Thanks for all of you that are already joining us here for our special look back at our holiday special, our Beyond Vaudeville Holiday Show that we did back in 1991. Before we get started, we have some more of these coming up soon, some more rewinds, tribute to Coco and Penny, just December 26th. And then we're going to be doing a tribute to the Roy Radin vaudeville shows with some of the band guys that actually performed in the Roy Radin shows. That's going to be really cool, as is the Coco and Penny tribute that we're doing. We've also been digitizing some old tapes, and we have all ready to go one of our live shows from 1988 with Adam Batman West and Sammy Petrillo as one of the guests. And we are going to post that as soon as we hit 3,000 subscribers. And we're really close. So if you haven't yet subscribed to Beyond Vaudeville on YouTube, do so and let your friends know. Get everyone in there and we'll all have fun together. We've got Buttermilk Jug is already on saying Merry Christmas, Rich. Merry Christmas back to you, Buttermilk Jug. And again, if you have any questions, our guest that's going to be with us tonight is the director of all of our Beyond Vaudeville episodes. And he was also in the booth at Oddville MTV, working with our great director, Kit. And he's the guy that just has called all the shots that you see, those great reaction shots that you see. So if you have questions for Steve, please put them into the chat and we'll ask him. But what we're here primarily for is to talk about our Beyond Vaudeville Holiday Special. So please, without further ado, let's welcome Steve Korn.
Hey, Rick.
Steve, there you are.
I'm here. So I've already subscribed to the channel, so I can't add to the total.
You have subscribed. Is there a way to double subscribe? Can you make up an alias and
you know, I don't know that we want to suggest to YouTube that we're doing that.
Oh, right. I know they don't like any kind of underhanded weird things going on.
That would be my understanding, but maybe we can talk off the air.
So this was your suggestion, Steve, actually, that we do a look back at this holiday special, and because it was very special to you. You say this is one of your favorites?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I really liked the way this one turned out. You know, the flow was really good. There's a lot of distinct, interesting segments in it. The set looked great. I mean, we really, for whatever reason, just everything sort of fell together on this one. And, so yeah, and plus what I really like about it a lot was the way we sort of put a spotlight on the public access shows that we liked at the time. And there were a good number of them. I mean, you spent a lot of hours watching public access in the 90s.
Many hours, yes.
And, I mean, a lot of our guests generally came from people you spotted on other access shows.
Yep.
And just, you know, really four when you count Wallowitch, who we spotlighted on this, definitely hours of viewing in the night, their own particular shows. So being able to spotlight them on Beyond Vaudeville was great. And there's just sort of a joy to this show, I think, that, you know, really hit home for me. Plus, also the ending is maybe my favorite sequence that we ever did. Because I don't want to give it away, but what you're going to see is genuine. I mean, we did not plan this. This happened. And,
correct.
And we were able to capture it, which also made me happy. So,
all right. Well, why don't we get rolling with it? And then after we roll through the episode, we're going to just break down each of the guests that was on and what we know about what became of them. Well, what came before they came to the show and then what became of them after the show. Tom Smith is saying this is one of my favorite episodes too. All right, Tom. So you're in sync with us.
Let's enjoy it together.
All right. Let's get this rolling.
And I got to say, at the beginning, this is one of my favorite openings that we ever did. I mean, I'm really surprised it works as well as it did. You know, that someone remembered to turn the lights on at the right time. You know, I don't know who was at the switch, but we get a really good look at the lights in the dark, and then we get to see the set.
All right, let's get a roll.
Beyond Vaudeville program, Holiday Spectacular, with your host Frank Hope and your co-host David Green, Mad Magazine Mastermind William Gaines, Attorney M. Vincent Hayes, the Public Access Chorale Society Singers, a dramatic Yuletide reading by Leslie Holcomb, Joey the Monkey, and lots more.
Thank you, and welcome to our holiday spectacular. And thank you, Mr. Wallowitch, for accompanying us there on the opening, for our special opening. And Mr. Wallowitch will join us later for a very special song. But please, Mr. Wallowitch, if you'd like to have a seat, please stay with us here. Okay, and just want to quickly show you something.
What's that?
I believe Wallowitch was trying to imitate Dave there.
Yes.
And he was, I mean, he definitely got it. Like, he knew what we were up to.
Yeah, well, this was his, he had been on the show once before, and this was his second visit, so yeah.
Yeah, but that it was a nice attempt to imitate Dave there. I don't know if it came through exactly because of the angle, but that's what he.
I want to show you the Addams Family cereal that you can get, and we're very excited about this because it has a free poster on the back, and it's actually Carl Stroiken, the Lurch guy, who was on the show. So we're very proud to have this Addams Family cereal, and it's good too. They give ghosts, heads, and thing hands, and then David, maybe you could pass them down to Leslie. I know you don't want any. Why don't Leslie, you want to see this?
Perhaps later on.
Okay, Leslie Holcomb will be sitting with us.
You know, one thing I was trying to remember. Who had to sweep up the cereal? Like, did we have to do that, or did we just leave it?
They had a vacuum there, actually.
They had a vacuum?
So, yes, but we did have to clean that up.
Yeah. Was that generally you, or who?
Probably whoever wasn't busy stuffing all that junk in the back of the set into a bag.
Because I know it wasn't me. I was just wondering that. So okay, so somebody did have to vacuum it up.
Oh yes.
Okay. I also want to show my ET candle, Christmas candle, and he's holding a little tree, and it's hard to see, but I kept it wrapped in plastic so it doesn't get corroded. And also, I want to mention the Pringles newfangled potato chips. They used to be called newfangled, but now they're calling them original.
Explain what's going on with Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So on this episode, it was snowing, and what the snow meant was that the puppeteers who were back there behind all the tinsel were going to throw instant mashed potato flakes. Now, I'm not sure that they were supposed to do it right at the beginning, and people are going to see, you're going to mention that you didn't think the snow was supposed to start yet, which I think was correct. I think it was supposed to start later, but Doug Broad, who was, I believe, back there working the puppets, just couldn't wait. So he started. He started dropping.
I guess the snow is starting to fall. David, why don't you sit down a little bit over there? Okay. You're not supposed to do the snow yet. All right, sit down, David. We have a lot to get to.
The other thing I do want to point out about the snow, I don't think we ever checked to see that it would read on camera, which is why there are a lot of times you're going to see Dave react, and it's probably not clear why. And also, we had no idea. I don't even know if Dave knew we were going to do the snow, but it really bothered him. And
okay, special
we didn't
holiday albums. We've got the super. Oh, not my ET candle. Oh boy. Oh, all right. Let's, David, please, let's try to get going here now. I want to show some holiday records. Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman did a record, Christmas record. And a holiday record, too. We want to, don't not forget our Jewish friends, too. Robert Goulet doing his songs. And, the Pink Panther Christmas. Remember that one, Dave? Right? And who else? The Hawaiian Christmas, the Pac-Man Christmas. This is one of my favorites. And the Jets football team does a record. And also, this is also one of my favorites. This is the Grandma Moses Christmas album. And
talk about Grandma Moses a little bit before this starts. Yeah, so I'm curious if people even know anymore who Grandma Moses was. I mean, she was a folk artist, and the big thing about her was that she didn't gain any notoriety until she was 78 years old. She was born in 1860, and she first got noticed in 1938. She lived to be 101. And at the time she recorded this Christmas record, it came out in 1958. So she was probably 97, when she recorded it. And I remember when you bought it, you used to play it, I believe, in the NYU Humor Magazine office, which is where we met. And what I realized is that we never listened to the whole thing, which I just did because it's now on YouTube.
Wow.
And, Dave manages to cut it off really quickly. But there's another part that we never got to, which always struck us as kind of amusing in the office, where she's talking about going on her sled and how the law said you had to have bells on a one-horse open sleigh. And there's just a nice part where she says, you'd go to the top of the hill and away we'd go. She seemed very excited. And it's really the only time on the record she gets kind of excited.
And I imagine who is also excited is that whoever posted the YouTube recording of this is now happy to see that there's one viewer now that you actually sat through the whole thing.
You know what? 4,000 views. And 100 likes, and also 5 very positive comments.
Wow. And now it's going to grow even more with everyone in chat that's going to be running.
You're just going to hear about 30 seconds of it, but there's 29 minutes to go. So jump on. You're already on YouTube. Right after this is done, go listen to the Christmas with Grandma Moses record.
And it's very entertaining. She tells little stories about her Christmas times. Maybe we can just listen. It'd be a nice moment, right, Leslie?
29 minutes.
Father always had to break out the roads.
Turn that crap off.
He lived in about 3 fields in from the main road. And then he had to go down through with the mill, around and through the woods, and back again to break out every time after a heavy snow, make a path.
All right, David, we won't play the Grandma Moses record anymore, but that's a little taste of it, and maybe sometime when David's not here on a holiday special, we can listen to the whole thing. Right, and all right. Now, there's snow also on the show today because it's the holiday season, and some had already fallen before, I guess, on David. But okay, and maybe all right, David. Well, David's getting up, so our first guest can come in, right, David? And we want to welcome somebody we're very proud to have on. We want to welcome the genius behind Mad Magazine, the one and only Mr. William M. Gaines. And this is hello, Mr. Gaines.
Hello, Frank.
Yeah, Mike should be around there somewhere. There, right over there. Yeah. Just clip that on, and we should be all right. Now, Mr. Gaines, I was very excited to have you on because I've been reading Mad for so many years, and if you don't mind, I'd just like to show some from my collection. And if you have any thoughts, maybe you can just jump in. This is my oldest one I have, the number 9. And now this was about when that this came out?
About 1953.
53, and these are very collectible now, right?
Oh, quite, yes.
And now that's when it was just a comic book size, but then it went on to the bigger size that it is today. And I have some holiday mads that were done for the occasion, and maybe you can see that on there. Look at those. I always love the covers, and my favorite part has always been the fold-ins. Now, how did you come up with the idea for the fold-in in the back?
Well, Playboy had its fold-out, so we had our fold-in.
Oh, well, I never wanted to do the fold though, because it would wreck the back cover, so I never wanted to do that
Well,
part.
that was the idea. You have to buy two.
Oh, okay. Now,
That's totally true, by the way. I was a avid collector of Mad Magazine, and I never wanted to fold the fold-in to preserve them. We're hearing from Michael Abrams saying, Bill Gaines, wow, EC Comics publisher as well, very cool. Hot's my inner geek. Dennis Devine says, William Gaines looked every bit the part of the rumpled old eccentric. Buttermilk Jug says, William Gaines should have come out dressed as Santa Claus. Very perceptive.
Point. Interesting point. But I think we probably didn't want to push it, and we wanted him to show up. So.
Yeah, this was a really huge guest for us. I
was going to say, his importance. I don't think there'd have been a Beyond Vaudeville if there wasn't a Mad.
Yeah.
There certainly wouldn't have been the College Humor magazine that we worked on without the influence of Mad. So really? It was huge getting him to show up.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk more about all these guests after, but but absolutely.
You also have from all over the world. I have a German Mad here, and now how many of these are around the world?
We have 12 foreign editions.
Wow, and now also there was some bad Mads. They tried to do these other Mads, but I don't think it was you, Mr. Gaines, because they weren't funny. This Sick magazine.
Never heard of it.
And Crazy magazine. These.
Never heard of that either.
I never thought these were funny, but I bought them because I thought it was like Mad, because it looked just like Mad. And I didn't know. No, it didn't look. I don't mean it looked like Mad. I meant okay. Well, why don't we now? You now have a book out, completely Mad, and this is the whole history, right, of the magazine.
Yeah, that's a beautiful book that Little Brown just put out. It goes for $39.95 cheap. And
well, it's worth.
Maria Reinelbach wrote it, and it is a complete history of Mad, including pictures of all the covers, right up to the present.
It's worth every penny, if you ask me. And now, one thing that I thought was very interesting about you, Mr. Gaines, is that you scored a perfect score on your chemistry regions. Is that right?
This unfortunately is true because it sent me into a career of chemistry, which I flunked out of.
Okay, and but that was your best subject. Did you get any other good scores, or was that
not that good?
Okay. Now, and also as a big comic book collector, I'm very excited. You have, I'm told you have the original Superman comic strip. Is that true? Or?
Well, I had the original Superman sketches.
Oh.
And I gave them back at their request to Jerry Siegel, to Siegel and Schuster.
Okay, and well, that would be. I'd love to have something like that. And I'm also told that you have one of the biggest collections of Statue of Liberty memorabilia.
This is true. My wife and I have probably the best collection of miniature statues in the country, maybe the world.
Wow.
9 of them are actually by Bartholdi himself, who did the statue.
Wow. And why is it that you like that so much, the Statue of Liberty?
We just have a love affair with the statue, and we started collecting these statues, little statues.
Now, you also like the Nathan's hot dogs, I was told?
One of my favorite foods.
I like them, too. They make the little ones now, too, for the... do you like those for the pigs in the blanket kind that they make?
I've never run across them. I like big ones. I like big everything.
Okay. Well, I think they just came out, and, that's why... well, anyway. Also, now, Mr. Gaines is known for Mad, but also for the famous horror comics of the 50s, Tales from the Crypt, and all those great books. And those are very popular again now, right?
They've had a renaissance, and Homebox has put on a very successful series of stories from the old comics. And it's so successful that they tell me it's the best original programming that ever played on home box.
Wow. And did you ever think that all your creations would become like this big? Or?
No, never.
It's really impressive. And now also I have to ask you. You are with the Brotherhood Church of the Universal Brotherhood, and you perform weddings, marriage.
Well, I bought a for $25. I became a member of the Church of the Universal Brotherhood.
Oh.
And I am able to perform weddings because I'm a minister. I have never done one because I'm afraid they might not hold up in court.
Oh, so I could be a minister for just $25?
Well, they might have raised it to 50 now. I did this a long time ago.
Okay. They probably wouldn't want David for any price, right?
That's probably true.
To do that. I agree, Mr. Gaines. Now, Mr. Gaines, we want you to stay with us, but we do want to bring out some of our other guests, if you don't mind.
Don't mind.
Okay, well, our next guest you heard a little bit of before, and now he's going to do a very original song, Christmas Love, and this is the debut of this song, Mr. Wallowitch. Hey.
What's that?
There's one thing I want to point out about what we're going to see here. We'll talk more about Wallowitch later, but you're going to see there's a woman there who, once he starts the song, she's going to be in the shot. And it's really unclear what she's doing there. And that was the case at the time. I mean, I don't think we talked about her being there. And I thought she was going to sing or do something. And so what actually is going to happen was as much of a surprise to us in the booth as it is when you're watching it.
Yeah, it's not an up song, guys, but, you know, it's about that sentimental time, and that's what this song is about. My handlady, my divine Pat Renzer, Sydney, my producer. Silver bells are ringing, it's Christmas once again. Children greet the cold and snowy weather. Wintry skies, twinkling eyes, shining stars glowing, glowing. Round the tree are faces of loved ones, sweet and true. Dear familiar faces, one of them is you. You're my Christmas. Merry Christmas. Oh, my love, I love you.
Wow, that was great.
Bill in the glass, which again, I only realized after that's what she did on Wallowich's own public access show.
Yes,
Never
that
saw
was
her. You only
Pat
saw
Nemser.
her up
Yeah.
band. So I didn't know that. Now I get it.
That's your assistant there, Miss Pat Nemser, right?
Pat Nemser.
Well, know them of you both. Okay, and Mr. Wallowitch, if you want to stay, maybe just spin around. You can stay with us because you're going to help us play later, right?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll just stay here.
Sure, if you just want to spin around, that's fine. And now our next guest isn't really a holiday theme, but he has some very interesting news to share with us. And we'd like to welcome, he's a lawyer, Mr. M. Vincent Hayes, to the program. Thank you, Mr. Hayes. And there's a microphone there for you. Now, this is a little bit of a change of pace from the holiday, Mr. Hayes, but you have some interesting information to share with us about Marilyn Monroe, right? That research you've done?
Yes, I wrote a paper about Marilyn Monroe, DiMaggio Miller. It's really Marilyn Monroe, Doherty, Slatzer, DiMaggio Miller. He had these other husbands in there. And she was definitely murdered. The autopsy report showed that it was the barbiturates were found in her bloodstream. And this shows it could not have been an oral overdose of medication. Now, why did she die? Well, she was a blackmailer. She was writing an autobiography in Life magazine, and she was so upsetting John F. Kennedy, our great president, that he concluded she was a communist. She had urged him to stop atomic testing at a luncheon a couple of weeks before her death. And she had the worst thing she had, in addition to the autobiography going in Life magazine where she was criticizing Kennedy badly, was that she had the love letters of Bobby Kennedy to her, which she was using as blackmail to force Bobby to divorce Ethel and marry her. And I believe it was the CIA. There were murder tapes made of Kennedy calling payphone to CIA operatives in Los Angeles a week ahead of time. These were known as the Marilyn Monroe murder tapes. They were seized later in a police raid up at Holmes, New York, on the wiretap school.
Okay, and that's very interesting, Mr. Hayes.
One thing I think about, can you imagine Mr. Hayes in the social media era?
Yes. Yeah.
He would probably be like a major figure, I mean, certain circles. The other thing that struck me about him is that for however many times we had him on the show, I don't think he ever had any new information. I think he basically said the same thing every single time.
Well, I mean, I just want to point out, watching this now, rewatching this all these years later, is that I don't care what holiday specials you enjoyed years back, whether it was Bob Hope or the King family or Perry Como, none of them were providing you with information on the Marilyn Monroe conspiracy theory.
This is very true.
As far as I recall.
I defy anyone to find an.
Okay, well, let's and as Dennis Devine is pointing out in chat, nothing says Christmas like Marilyn Monroe being killed by the Kennedys and the CIA.
We should have put a Santa hat on him. That's what was missing.
So let's see where we go from here, because very often we discovered very early on in doing these shows that applause was always a good way to make something stop.
Very glad you mentioned that. I meant to, because I don't know how many times it worked on the show, but we used to do it at the live shows, which if we get to 3,000 subscribers, hint, hint, you're going to see a recording of a live Beyond Vaudeville show.
Yes.
And it was very helpful there.
All right, let's go back.
Even as you can see, sometimes on the TV show too.
Yeah.
Now we're offering 100. Robert Slatzer, one of her husbands,
right,
and I are offering $100,000 reward for the discovery of the whereabouts of a James Stark Hargadon, Hargadon, formerly addressed to General Post Office Box 657, New York, 10001. $100,000. Well, we want to find this man because he had for many years these love letters, which are really the property of Anna Strasberg.
Okay, well, very good, Mr. Hayes, and I think usually when they have these shows like America's Most Wanted, they say that the opinions are just the person that said them, right? But it's a very interesting theory, Mr. Hayes, and maybe I can give you a candy cane in return if you'd like.
They're real nice.
Would you like one, Mr. Gaines? Or?
Oh, love it.
Okay, and Mr. Wallowitch? Okay, Leslie, you want one? After the show. Okay. David, you want one? Okay, maybe not. Now, Mr. Gaines, do you believe some of these theories on different theories on people who got into problems and
I really have no information on it and no opinions.
Okay. Well, Leslie, did you have any thoughts about these theories or?
I never paid much attention to the reports on my own, except maybe just to briefly listen to them.
Okay.
Whether it was murdered or not, I don't know. I wasn't old enough to make an opinion back then. I was just born a few years earlier by the time she had met her fate. So
But,
I wouldn't ever give it my thoughts whether or not she was murdered or suicide or whatever had.
Okay, but a lot of interesting ideas there, certainly. Right?
Most of the articles I did read were in some of these weekly mags I periodically pick up.
Oh, yes.
So how much truth there is to that, I don't know.
Okay. Well, now we do want to keep moving and bring everyone out, and what we'd like to do is bring out the Access Choir, and these are our favorite public access shows on in New York cable, and we'd like to start bring each one out, and the first one we want to bring out is really the granddaddy of public access TV, and he's one of the funniest guys. He's done his crank call show for a number of years, and please welcome Steve Gruberg. Wow, this is
I'm getting old. They're calling me Granddaddy. By the way,
Yes.
that's not my real name. My real name is James Stark Hoggetay.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
Well,
You want those letters?
I'll dig into my wallet immediately.
yeah, no, maybe you get maybe you'll get $100,000 out
I
of
certainly
that.
hope so. Work on those letters.
Okay. Now, you've been doing your show how long?
Since May 13th, 1975.
Wow. And
Never taken out.
so you've seen a lot of shows come and go on cable.
I've seen my show come and go, as a matter of fact.
Oh.
But yes, no, I have seen a lot of shows come and go.
Okay, and
But you're here to stay.
well, I hope so, and I hope you're here to stay too, Mr. Gruberg, and I hope everybody's here to stay, I guess. All right, now we want to bring out everybody, and our next guest we're going to bring out is another one of our favorite shows, and he teaches great crafts projects every year and every week. And please welcome Mr. Mark Heskin to the show. How you doing, Mr. Heskin? And now, Mr. Heskin, did you bring your? Is that from the article that was in the London?
No, this is my Christmas carols.
Oh, okay. All right. I was just talking about. He was featured in a magazine in London for your balloon show, the famous balloon show,
Right.
and where you weren't wearing anything but balloons, right?
Yep.
And you popped them all, except one. Oh boy. Okay. And now you've been doing your show how long?
For 2.5 years.
Okay, 2.5. And you teach crafts projects, but you also do all kinds of different
I
things.
do all different kinds of things. Yep.
Okay.
And I always do like a Christmas show. This year I'll be spending Christmas here in New York. I do a lot of my shows in North Dakota, but this year I went to North Dakota for Halloween, so I'm going to spend Christmas here in New York.
Oh, okay. And Mr. Heskin was also on Saturday Night Live as an extra in some shows, and you were in that act where Bill Murray was all fat and he was
Right.
he didn't have
off on foreign dubbing or whatever it was.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure everyone remembers that one. And but we do have just a few others to bring out, and these are also favorites of ours. And now these guys have only been on about a year, but they're going to be on forever, I hope. And they are the one and only G Street Gang: Hallie, Ivan, Abby, and Mark. Okay. Wow. Okay, you're all sitting there now, and now this is almost like your show with all these people, and you guys just basically take phone calls. Hallie, is everything okay back there?
Hey, what are you doing?
Okay. All right. And now you guys, who had the idea for your show to take these calls?
Hallie did.
That was
Actually, it was your brother.
Oh, where's my brother?
Yeah, he walked into my house with an ice cream cone.
oh.
He came up with the idea.
Oh.
Now was that is that your brother Earl? Is that no?
Oh, no.
No.
That's
Earl's is his cousin.
Okay, because there are all these inside jokes on the show, and I don't even get half of them. But you just have to keep watching, I guess, to get all the jokes. Now, each guy sort of has a specialty, right? Now, AB is a music specialist. You're wearing your stick shirt, AB, today.
Yeah, stick shirt today.
And Mark's specialty is sort of telling these jokes, I think. I don't know what he thinks his
It's not
specialty
that he
is.
tells the jokes, it's that he gets every joke if you tell him.
Oh, okay. And Ivan is best known on the show for wearing the same clothes every week. And Hallie, I think, is sort of the ringleader because he always sits in the middle. But I guess everyone's a ringleader on the show too. Now, do you guys all watch each other's shows? Do you know about each other?
Yes. Well, Steve, we know for sure.
Okay.
Steve's the best.
They've got 4 other guys, and they stole my show.
Oh boy. Okay.
No, they do a terrific show.
Now we brought all you guys together to do some carols for us, and we'd like if you could do the 12 Days of Christmas, and our Joey the Monkey will come out eventually and do some dancing with it. Joey has some gifts too.
3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. On the 4th day of Christmas, my true love came to me. 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. On the 4th day of Christmas, my true love came to me. 5 golden rings, 4 golden birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. On the 6th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 6 geese a-laying, 5 golden rings, 4 golden birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. On the 7th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 7 swans a-swimming, 6 geese a-laying, 5 golden rings, 4 golden birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. On the 8th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 8 maids a-milking, 7 swans a-swimming, 6 geese a-laying, 5 golden rings, 4 golden birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. On the 9th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 9 pipers piping, 8 maids a-milking, 7 swans a-swimming, 6 geese a-laying, 5 golden rings, 4 golden birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. On the 10th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 10 ladies dancing, 9 pipers piping, 8 maids a-milking, 7 swans a-swimming, 6 geese a-laying, 5 golden rings, 4 golden birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. On the 11th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 11 lords a-leaping, 10 ladies dancing, 9 pipers piping, 8 maids a-milking, 7 swans a-swimming, 6 geese a-laying, 5
Joey, before you leave, you have a mistletoe over your head, right? And that, oh boy. Okay. All right, Joey. Thank you. Now, what did everybody get? Okay. Oh, just giving everybody a little kiss there. Okay. Ah, there you go, Mr. Hayes. And okay. All right. Okay. Maybe not David, Joey. Okay. Now, okay. Leslie, maybe you better start doing your reading now.
Okay, be advised, this is going to be... Okay.
No, yeah, all right. Leslie, we have to close now. Please start your reading.
All right.
Oh, go ahead.
It's going to be an edited version of The Night Before Christmas, ladies and
Okay.
gentlemen. It was the night before Christmas, and all through the house. Now the creature was stirring, not even a mouse. All the stockings were all hung by the chimney with care. He hoped that St. Nicholas would soon be near. Children rolled. That's what it is.
I want to thank all our guests. Well, Leslie, no, keep going, Leslie. Thank you, Mr. Gaines, for joining us, and Mr. Hayes, and Leslie, and all you Access guys. Thanks for coming on the show. And okay, keep going, Leslie. And thank you, of course, Wallowitch, for accompanying us. And David, maybe you can sit down. And thank you, Joey, for all those great gifts. And oh, there's the snow. Okay. All right. Be careful now, Dave. Okay. All right. Maybe this has to stop. Okay. Thanks for watching Beyond Vaudeville. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year to everybody. Isn't it over yet?
Just like the ones I used to know. When treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow.
All right, there we have it. Amy Fruschauer Kelly says, best ending ever. Well,
I agree. There's just so much going on in it. And there's just, we can talk about Joey, a.k.a. John, in that segment. I just love what he did there with the little kiss on Wallowich's head and Mr. Hayes and, his little dance, the he just, he filled in what could have been a really dead spot with a lot of fun stuff.
Let's. I want to talk about some of these people, Steve, that we had. We do have one comment from Tom Smith. I own one of the largest humor collections in the world with all the issues of Cracked, Sick, Crazy, Bananas, National Lampoon, and many others more obscure titles. And I must say, you were really brave to show Gaines those Sick and Cracked magazines, because he hated all the mad competitors. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I knew that. I think
if you did, you maybe wouldn't have shown them. So probably ignorance is bliss.
Well, let me bring up. This leads us right into William Gaines, who I just want to say William Gaines died 6 months after doing this interview. So it might have been his last interview. He was in poor health. He was in poor health in his later years. He had a pacemaker, and for some reason he agreed to do the show. And I actually had reached out to his daughter, Wendy, about possibly joining us on this live stream, and she said, and I told her that he had done this interview that the interview that's up there was for my high school newspaper, and he invited me into his office to come and interview him, and it was a thrill. And she wrote, "Hi Rich, it doesn't surprise me that my dad gave you the interviews. He was very generous in that way. Because he was interviewed so many times, I don't feel as if I could add anything new to your live stream. Every story, every memory has been written about and broadcast ad infinitum. I could only retell the same stories. I get asked a lot. my dad was very much just dad to me. When he came home, I didn't ask him how his day was. So the only memories I have are memories of Bill Gaines, my dad, not Bill Gaines, the publisher. But yeah, I mean, I just remember nothing but a positive experience with William Gaines. When I met him as a high school kid and on this taping, he just was a really
very good sport.
Yeah.
He went with everything. He seemed to like the fuzzy dice that he got to give. Also, I mean, for people who want to know more about him, earlier that year in '91, he did an interview with Bob Costas, which is on YouTube, and not quite like ours.
I mean, one of the things in seeing these old shows is having a legend like William Gaines there, and not just doing a full half hour of questions with him, because God knows we could have done that. But you could see everything we were trying to pack into that show. So, we would do the best we could with the limited time we had with each person within a show.
It also, that's not what the show was really about. It was about getting all the guests out and seeing how they interacted and how they reacted to each other. Yeah. So, it would have been great, to ask William Gaines everything that we wanted to know, but again, not really the context for it.
Yep.
Also, Tell the Truth, that's on YouTube.
Yeah, which is great. So let's talk about Wallowitch. So Wallowitch ended up dying in 2007. He was 81 years old and had cancer, unfortunately. Wallowitch had been doing his public access show, John's Cabaret, since 1980. And he was part of the New York cabaret scene for 40 years. He wrote over 2,700 songs. And one of the things that was interesting about his life was that he was parodied on Letterman's old show by Chris Elliott doing this character.
Yeah, he called himself Johnny Graham. And he did it, but it was Wallowitch.
Yeah, and the first time I ever met Wallowitch was actually on a bus. And it was on a New York City bus, and I saw Wallowitch, and I was so excited. And I, went up and introduced myself, and I said, "Now, do you know that they're doing this character of you on Letterman?" And he just grinned, and I said, like, you haven't gone out and said anything about it? And he was just like, no, I like to just quietly let these things happen. And he was very excited about this impression that Chris Elliott was doing.
And I mean, he, achieved quite a bit of notoriety on the cabaret circuit. I saw there's an award named after him. I guess it's the MAC. It's Manhattan something of cabaret. I forget what the A is, but there's a John Wallowitch Award that they still give out. And I mean, he wrote songs for Blossom Dearie, and he performed with Dixie Carter for a long time.
And that we see in the lower right there, that was a CD he did with Dixie Carter. And the upper two left albums, the one on the top left was his first album with a cover designed by Andy Warhol, as well as the second album, which is next to it, with his name in red there at the top. That was also designed by Warhol, because there was a Warhol connection. Wallowitch.
Yeah. I don't know if we knew that at the time of the show, that his brother was such a close associate of Warhol's. I don't know. Did you know that at the time? I don't remember.
No, because we didn't have access to a lot of this, information. And but yes, his brother, they were from the Pittsburgh area, and they knew Warhol in the early days in New York, and he and his brother. And his brother was Wallowich's brother was a photographer who would take photos of soup cans that Warhol would use to paint from, and so Wallowitch had this very interesting life and career. There's a great documentary about him and his longtime partner Bertram Ross, called Wallowitch and Ross: This Moment. You should check that out.
I think it is available to stream, right?
Yeah, you can definitely find it. And the other thing I want to mention, especially during the holiday season, is something that Wallowitch would talk to me about. And I think this has been written up. You can find stories about this online. But he used to lead a group of carolers every Christmas. I think it might have been Christmas Eve. To the home of Irving Berlin, who was still living on Beekman Place well into his 90s. And they would gather and sing outside his window, basically serenading him, hoping that he might hear them. And they did this for years, and there was never any response. And then one year, they go and they're singing, and the door opens up. And it's some woman, some help who was in the home who said that Mr. Berlin wanted to extend an invitation for them to come into the kitchen in this townhouse and have some hot chocolate. I don't believe they actually met Irving Berlin, but they were given his nod of approval for these years of coming to his home to pay tribute to him. And Berlin ended up dying in 1989 at 101 years old. And he was one of those guys who was in the unique position of actually outliving the copyright on some of his songs. I can't remember which one, Steve. Do you like White Christmas, maybe, or?
Might have been.
Yeah.
The copyright laws kept changing too. So
yeah,
his were written and then expired before they extended the law.
Yeah.
But, I also, before I forget, I do want to point out, if you want to see Wallowich's public access show, it is available on YouTube, as are Chris Elliott's parodies. So if anyone does look them up, they're available.
This was a note that we had gotten from Wallowitch after his first appearance on the show, this prior to the Christmas show. Dear Frank and David, thanks for your note. I loved doing your show. It was, as they used to say, a gas. I'd appreciate a copy. Send me a VHS. And of course we did. So we treasure that.
He definitely understood what was going on and seemed to enjoy it.
There was a note. There's a in the chat from Bailey George. Alexander's Ragtime Band and Monkey Doodle Doo were two Berlin songs he outlived. Wow. Okay, it's crazy. Okay, let's talk about this guy. This is Steve Gruberg. Steve Gruberg was really a pioneer on New York City public access. He started doing his show in 1975. He was born in Brooklyn, lifetime New Yorker. And he ended up doing the show pretty close right up until the end of his life. He ended up doing the show for about 35 years, ended up dying in 2011 at 69, also from cancer, unfortunately. But regular viewers of the show might recognize one of Steve's guests from one of his shows up there on the upper left.
Bottom. Those people
William
who
Brown.
watch vaudeville should be able to spot him right away too.
Renaissance man William Brown. Anyway, Steve's show was just, he would just take any call that would come in. It was so refreshing, unlike all the radio shows that would screen their calls. This was just whoever called in would get through and could just say whatever they wanted to say. And Steve would just sit there and nod and respond. And he kind of, the show at the bottom in black and white, that's how long he was doing the show when public access, the studios they were actually doing these shows in black and white, even into the 70s. And then on the bottom right, that's when Soupy Sales came on the show. That was simply Steve, who was pretty well known in New York for this public access show, just saying on air, like, I love Soupy Sales. Can somebody get me Soupy Sales? And sure enough, somebody figured out a way to connect Soupy and to come on the show. And he did that with other people, Al Lewis and a couple of other celebrity guests that would appear. I'm not sure how he and William Brown connected, but
William Brown would call him.
Yeah.
Because William Brown called a lot of public access shows. I mean, I don't know if that's Do you remember how you found him for Beyond Vaudeville?
I thought it might have been through Gruberg's show, but William points out in the live stream that I did with him, which you should all check out if you haven't seen that, an update on William Brown. He said we had started talking in a copy shop somewhere in the village.
But do you recognized him from his appearances on public access? Or?
Maybe because I do. Yeah, I definitely, I always watch Gruberg, and I did remember seeing him. I think I might have seen him on Gruberg first.
Okay.
What else? Oh, and the other thing about Steve Gruberg is that for a living, he would sell advertising for Al Goldstein's Midnight Blue, Al Goldstein's infamous show on Channel J on Least Access. And Steve also had, we had heard he had purchased a bunch of these old black and white girly loops, and he would run those on Least Access and sell ads in between them.
Should we explain the difference between least access and public access if anybody was wondering about ads?
I mean, basically there was public access in New York, and then there was a least access channel that the cable company set up where anybody could buy time, and that ended up getting filled with adult material, of course, and it turned into a real headache for Manhattan Cable to have all these shows on that were pornographic, basically.
Hard in a lot of cases.
So anyway, that was Steve Gruberg, and now
his line to Mr. Hayes about his real name, I thought was a highlight of the half hour.
Steve was a very funny guy, and he originally thought that he might be a stand-up comedian, and eventually found public access and found his home there. So let's talk about M. Vincent Hayes. There's a lot of questions and curiosity about M. Vincent Hayes. What you're looking at here on the left is Mr. Hayes's mother, who apparently was very domineering. And that's Mr. Hayes in the middle at a younger age. It reminds me kind of a young Jack Nance, don't you think?
Yeah, that's good.
And then on the right was from the New York Times wedding announcements when Mr. Hayes married Bettine Brown. That was back in 1961. So I'm going to share some stuff because I'm guessing that not many of you own this book, but I found this book called Reflections of an Octogenarian by the wife of M. Vincent Hayes. It filled in so much that we didn't know about Mr. Hayes. All we really knew about Mr. Hayes was, about his conspiracy theories. But reading through this book, basically, she would make all the money working on Wall Street, and he would spend all the money largely on these Beaux-Arts Society balls that he would organize. They lived in Gramercy Park. Any of you that know Manhattan know this is a very exclusive area. And some of the things that she revealed was that it was a difficult life with Mr. Hayes. Who would have guessed?
Who would have guessed? Yeah.
He was a Marine in the Korean War, and while he was a Marine in the Korean War, he had some mental episode on the ship. They had to basically lock him up for 6 months or something while the boat was at sea, and they eventually gave him 12 shock treatments. Now, I don't know a lot about shock treatments, but I'm guessing 12 is a considerable number.
I would think so. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So he, so he apparently had all these crazy episodes. It would land him in Bellevue. He'd be in veterans hospitals for weeks at a time. He would have violent outbursts. And like, who knew? I mean, he never was violent with us. He was always very you
He
know.
seemed very appreciative when you offered him the candy cane.
Yeah, yeah. He didn't throw it at me. I mean, next to David, he was really an angel.
Yeah,
And,
snappy dresser too. As we saw in this episode.
And one last thing that came from this book, and I'd love to find this someday, but apparently he once made the front page of the New York Daily News, and Mr. Hayes was a lawyer, and the headline was "Punch a Cop Lawyer Loses Bid for Parole." So somehow he was involved in
temper tantrum, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
He was a practicing attorney. If you Google him, a couple of cases that he was involved with do show up.
Yeah.
So people hired him.
Now, John Walsh, who played our Joey the Monkey, he got some kind of weird book deal with some Japanese company or something. You recall this, Steve?
Yeah. Well, I remember he did go to Japan, but so the book somehow had to do with Marilyn Monroe, and he actually went to Mr. Hayes's apartment in Gramercy Park and interviewed him there. I don't know what this publishing arrangement was, but somewhere in Asia, there's a book that details Mr. Hayes's conspiracy theories, I guess.
Wow.
Do you remember John describing the apartment at all? I
was very curious what the apartment would be like. And all I can remember John telling me about his experience going to interview Mr. Hayes was that Mr. Hayes was shuffling around the apartment in a bathrobe, and he had a nicotine patch that was hanging off him and was being kept on by Band-Aids. And he was smoking some kind of like Tiparillo or something at the time. So
if I played a video.
Yeah, that's all I remember. Questions here. Let's see. Well, this is actually a statement. Scott Allen says, back then, shock treatments were cheaper by the dozen.
Oh, yeah, maybe so.
Take your word for it, Scott. Scott also says, William Brown is my favorite regular guest. Favorite all-time moment, he reinserts his earplugs when he realizes the bagpipe player wasn't done. Boy, you're all so perceptive. It's amazing the things
people with evil eyes.
Let's see. The question was, did I meet him in a copy or a coffee shop? It was a coffee shop. And then Bailey George says, my girlfriend remembers him coming into Instant Copy in the Village. Wow.
There you go.
Yeah.
I have a feeling William probably did a lot of copying.
Yeah.
Because, remember, he used to copy record grooves or record labels.
Yes, he did a lot of copying. And he would copy all the photos of the Benny Hill girls. And yeah. Question is, what happened to Mr. Hayes after his appearances? So we really don't know. This book doesn't say at the time that it was written, Mr. Hayes was still alive, and that was 2010. But he would be, what do we think? 80s, 90s?
Probably, yeah. Late 80s. Could be as old as mid-90s.
Yeah. So if anybody knows, please let us know.
We did try Googling him, and a couple of his court cases came up, but nothing recent.
So let's talk about the G Street Live guys. So they had another great call-in show. It's kind of it was, I guess, inspired by Steve Gruberg in some ways. But those guys that you saw, the G and G Street stood for Grand Street, and they all grew up together on Grand Street in the Lower East Side when the Lower East Side was still the Lower East Side. And they were, it was a really fun show to watch because there was the interaction of them as these guys that just kind of grew up together on the street down there. And
they also any call that they would get. Right?
Yes. Yeah. And So we ended up going on the show twice, and I thought I'd just share a clip from one of those appearances that we did. So here we go.
Karen, I'm not speaking. I was supposed to speak, KB. Welcome to the G Street Live Show. We're on every Tuesday from 10 to 11 Manhattan Cable and from 10 to 10:30 on Paragon. And we have special guests here tonight from Beyond Vaudeville. We have Frank, and we have Dave, and we have Joey the Monkey on the end over there. And anybody else got announcements? I got a few announcements.
No, go ahead.
Yes, all right, I want to say hello to Edwin, Tito, and Nicholas, Jonathan Gruber, and of course Bucky Feldman.
Jonathan Gruber?
Jonathan Gruber.
Seen him lately?
Yeah, this is today.
Oh, really?
Can you talk?
No. Dave, do you want to say something? Whoa. Whoa. Wow. That was like the Wizard of Oz.
Oh, God.
Okay. Calm down, Dave. Say a word.
Hello?
Yeah.
Georgia and Rosemary?
I'll go in a second.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah.
Georgia and Rosemary, I want you. I want you there.
Good. So does everybody.
Hello.
Yeah.
Living color.
Yep.
Yeah, how you doing, Ivan?
Stone.
Mark, what's happening, fellas? Frank, I watch your show every week. I enjoy it. I almost enjoy it as much as G Street Live. They're still the best. I just have a problem with David, man. I love your show. You're very knowledgeable. You have great guests. I love it a lot. I'm not really into vaudeville, but you got great guests, nice little knickknacks like the Vanilla Ice doll stuff you don't see much. But David, I hate.
Okay,
You're pushing people around on the show. I wish I was a guest one time so I could punch him in that big old long ugly face of his.
You can say that. I can't say that to him. So.
Wow.
Anyway, Frank, I think you're cool.
Out of the way,
Street.
Dave, say a word or two. Don't let him.
Our live show. It's going to be at Caroline's Comedy Club on May 11th.
You leave David at home, I'll come check.
Say that again, May 11th?
Oh, May 11th at Caroline's.
From G Street, I watch your show every week.
Wow.
Good mood.
There was a lot of, obviously all of us that did public access shows, we all kind of knew of each other at the very least and would watch each other's shows. And sometimes there'd be this cross-universing between shows. And this comment, the G Street guys seemed really raunchy, kind of at odds with the BV vibe.
Were they that raunchy? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, we never passed judgment on anybody. It's like we were open to all.
They had a really interesting vibe, whether it was raunchy or not. I mean, they were just very genuine. Had a nice chemistry between each other. So,
and now also on the holiday show that we just watched was Mark Heskin. Mark had a show. I don't know if he was quite as well known as some of these other shows. He did a show a few years, but he was on like early Sunday mornings, so he wasn't seen by as many people, I don't think. But he did have his fans, and it was a show where he would shoot and edit it all himself with old VHS equipment in his apartment. And there was a contest that he was doing on one of his episodes. Normally he'd show craft projects, but sometimes he would just do other things. And he did a contest where he would, it was a Brady Bunch contest, and he would show just the first couple of seconds of a couple of episodes of the Brady Bunch. And if you could name those episodes, you could win the contest and get on his show. So I was so excited. I was able to identify the episodes, of course, and sent in the answers and got invited to come on his show. So this is a clip of when we were invited onto my craft show.
Hi, I'm Mark Heskin. Welcome to my craft show. Recently on my show, we had a Brady Bunch contest. I aired the first 30 seconds or so from 6 different episodes of the Brady Bunch. If you could identify each of those episodes based on that short little clip that I showed, you won. The response to my contest was really pretty good. I decided that the winners would get airtime right here on my show. And today, I'd first like to welcome winners Frank Hope and David Green.
Well, Mark, and thanks for having us on my craft show. This is very exciting for me, Frank Hope, and my good friend David Green. David is trying a different look today. I think he's trying to fix his personality. He usually wears a tie, but I think now he thinks he's Don Johnson. One other thing is the Dear Maureen column, where you talk to Maureen and you write her, you know, about problems you have, and she helps you. I wish this column were still around. It was very informative and educational. There's one part here about body odors, and she writes, we all know we should bathe or shower every day, right? If you think that this is a chore, you must be doing it the wrong way. A warm bath at the end of a long, tiring day is just the most soothing and relaxing thing in the whole world. So there, you learn to take baths maybe sometimes instead of a shower is a good idea. Right, David? And I have a very special tape that we'd like to show, and if the control room is ready, maybe we can show the tape now.
And then the cartoon, we had the Brady Bunch cartoon show, and then we had comic books. We did the Brady Brides. It's been a fairly substantial part of my career, and there's and there's a lot more to come. And it's good that and you see, and he has fun with it too, and that's good. We like that, Barry. And you have to, or life would really be, you know, a drag. Okay, but this is you got to roll with the punches. And you keep going now, but now.
Wait a minute, stop that tape. Stop that tape right now. I'm afraid I'm going to have to disqualify you from my contest.
Oh, no.
I had no idea you were a close and personal friend of one of the Bradys.
No.
How do we know you just didn't call up Greg Brady and have him help you with the answers to the contest? That's not fair to my other contestants. I thought I'd seen you two weirdos someplace before. You have your own show on public access too, don't you? I've seen it. Don't deny it. It's on Monday nights at 6 o'clock on Channel 17. And Friday nights at 9:30 on Channel 17. Boy, I would think they would get enough airtime on their own show without using unsavory tactics just to get on mine. Get out, get out. You've wasted enough of our time.
Oh, I don't
you
think...
cheaters.
Okay.
Get out.
Okay. Maybe we better go.
Go call Greg Brady. Be on his show. Maybe he'll have a show sometime.
Oh, all right. Well, thanks, Mark, for having
Cheaters?
us. All right. Come on, David. David, all right. Come on, we don't need a Minecraft show. We'll go on Beyond Vaudeville, then. That's all. That's the way it has to be. Come on, David. Come on. All right. I wish the elevator would get here. Wait, what was with that guy? He always seems so nice on his show. Oh, boy. Oh, no, the puppet, no. Okay. All right. Where's the elevator? Okay.
I'm gonna have to start to screen these contest winners a bit more carefully. I should have known those two goons could never come up with the correct answers all by themselves. I can just see it now. Hello? Greg Brady? This is Frank Hope. What happened on that episode that began with you pushing the shopping cart in the parking lot while wearing your black and white striped shirt? Give me a break. That's not fair. I'm just sorry you had to witness this whole ugly scene. You've probably never seen me be that assertive before. I even surprised myself. But I can be aggressive when I need to be.
Well, that was a little taste of my craft show.
Would you care to confess that you called Barry Williams to get those answers now? I think the statute of limitations has run out. So you.
I'm not sure Barry Williams would have taken my call on that. But yes. So Scott is saying public access was so much more entertaining than anything on TV now. And Reed Transistor saying this is amazing. Yeah, I mean, public access was great in New York in the 80s and 90s. And
well, even before that, I mean,
yeah.
there's
Well,
yes. I mean, I think there's a whole untapped history of the 70s that I think we only got a glimpse of, you know,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of it's lost.
Yeah, can't speak much to the 70s because of that, because it does seem a lot of it's lost with Frantic Fran and Tex's, what was his name? Tex
Fenster?
Tex Fenster, yeah. Yeah, anyway, that kind of is everybody that was in. Oh, the only other person on the show was Leslie Holcomb, and we just don't know. We don't have any updates on Leslie. If anybody out there,
hopefully he's around somewhere.
Yeah, if anybody out there knows what Leslie's up to, please let us know. I just want to thank you, Steve, for doing this.
Great. Thanks. This was a great holiday gift for me to be on the live stream.
And hopefully this has been a gift to all of you. A bunch of you showed up here, and we really appreciate it. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe and like.
See the live show again. How many subscribers are? It's pretty close now, right?
Yeah, I think we're down to like 60. If we get like another 60 subscribers, we're going to hit 3,000, and then we're going to post this long lost video of
Adam West.
Adam Batman West. Everybody loves Adam West.
Everybody loves West.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, thanks again, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Steve.
You bet.
And thank you, Gene Stinky 665, who says, thank you. Love these streams. Great. Thank you all for watching, and keep coming back. And you're going to hear about these. If you subscribe, you're going to know that they're coming up.
Coco and Penny on Monday.
That's right. The 26th. Is that Monday?
I think that's Monday.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll be watching.
Bye, everybody.